Well, good morning and welcome back. Quick follow-up video on this Superstar 121. If you saw the previous video, you saw we had some problems with one of the crystals that had been pushed down. Excuse me. Obviously, I'm not really sure, but I'm guessing that the crystal was not all the way to the circuit board, pushed down all the way to the circuit board when they soldered it. Looks like somebody had been in there in that section playing with the solder joints, because they were just little round balls on top of the leads for the crystal. So maybe the crystal had moved up a little bit when they were playing with it when the radio was upside down. Whatever the case may be, it ended up pushing, the traces off the circuit board and cracking them. So, like I said in the previous video, you saw that thing. It was like a loose tooth. So we got that all straightened out. Radio's right on frequency and working really, really well. Did not have to touch. We're going to start on the receive side of things here. Okay. Did not have to touch the receive whatsoever. Okay. This radio came in. This is just the way it came in. And we're just going to leave it right there because it's coming right in at 10 dB on your signal to noise ratio at a half a microvolt at 30% modulation. Okay, where most of the manuals anywhere between a half a microvolt and a microvolt is where they recommend. There's not a lot of information on this radio that I have personally, so we're just going by what we know. But at a half a microvolt, that's still very, very good receive. Okay. I know a lot of people, I'm just going to turn that down for a sec. A lot of people do this by the minus dBm, which is fine. There are some instructions and service manuals that do recommend doing it by the dBm settings and measurements. So we'll just show you what she's doing there. That's minus 113, obviously equals a half a microvolt. Okay, showing it's still coming in at a good 10 on the signal to noise. And we'll just bring that down. This thing actually has a really, really good receive on it. There's minus 120, okay, and still coming in. So, and that's not even, we're not even getting voltage at a, okay, there's 1 volt coming out of the volume. So definitely coming in really, really well. Did not have to touch that, which is kind of surprising, but not surprising with these older radios. This radio is a good 25 years old, and they definitely had a better receive circuit than some of your newer Galaxies and Connexes and radios of this build style, I guess you could say. Okay, so anyway, we'll get you switched over to the power side and show you what she's doing. Okay, we're going to start off with the scope and the analyzer, just show you how nice and clean she is. Again, it's just a single final radio, okay? Single final. Not a big powerhouse, okay, by any means, but it is a very, very decent radio. Guess what's in my mind right here, I want to stress, if you guys have these old radios, they're well worth fixing. You know, maybe you're a younger truck driver that your father was trucking for years and years and years, like this gentleman, and you get some hand-me-down radios, and they've just been sitting in the shop on the shelf or in the closet. They're well worth fixing. Okay, granted they don't have all the bling. Okay, and I know a lot of us are all into the bling nowadays, but they definitely do the job with a good antenna and coax setup. They'll work very, very well. Of course, we all know how the noise levels are nowadays and everything, so everybody's boosting up the power just a little bit, which is, you got to do what you got to do. But needless to say, these older radios, all the components are all available for all of these radios. Unlike some of the newer stuff that have faceplates that are failing and stuff, we can't seem to get any replacements for those, which is really too bad, because then it makes it a throwaway radio. So Don't throw these away. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Don't throw the old radios away. Get them fixed up, sell them or whatever, and use them. They work very well still, even though they're old. This radio here is probably 25, 30 years old, and it's working very, very well. Okay. Again, single final. It's not a big powerhouse, but it is what it is. That's the way Connex and the rest of them all started off. This is just my opinion now. I can remember when I was just a little boy, 14, 15 years old, riding with my brother across country. Some of you might know, we were leased on with Holiday Express. I wasn't even supposed to be in the truck, actually. Some of you are probably going to say that. But we'd go out to Esterville, Iowa, picking up swinging beef, bring it back to Boston. And, you'd always walk into these mom and pop truck stops, and they'd have the little setup with all the CBs and everything in the case. And you'd see that Connex over there in the corner going, oh, I got to get myself one of them Connex radios, But I guess the point that I was trying to make there is that, everybody was putting echo boards and channels and all this stuff in the Cobras and everything. And then Connex said, well, we're just going to put it all in one package. So they all started off with single final radios, echo board, channels, the whole 9 yards. Then, obviously, over time, they upgraded to dual finals and so on and so forth. But, I can definitely remember when I was 14, 15 years old, 13 years old, every summer. I didn't hang around and play with my friends during the summertime. I went out and rode in that old 79 cab over with a 318 Detroit and a 13 speed. And went and tore up the highways of America. Like I said, some of you probably know Holiday Express, Holland Beef with Montfort and the rest of them out there. Good times, days gone by. I'm 60 years old now, so that was a long, long time ago. Anyway, enough of that story. So we got the radio set up. Again, single final radio. You really only want them set around 5, maybe 6 watts, maybe, if that. But wherever they tune in, okay, this 2 watt, 10 watt thing on a single final radio is not the way to go. And we'll show you that when we move along with some other radios. I don't want to get in and mess with the tune on this thing because we've got it working very nice right now. So, but when you get your dead keys up that high, to maintain that high dead key, you have to, the only way to get it, what will happen is you'll be flat topping, okay? Your peaks will be flat on the top, and which is overdriving your finals, okay? Or oversaturating, I should say, not overdriving. Well, I guess the same thing, but your peaks here, when you maintain that high dead key, your peaks here will flatten out, and the only way to bring those down is either bring the dead key down or turn down the modulation. Now, if you're going to insist on maintaining that high dead key and turn down the modulation, you're just turning the radio into what we call a wet noodle radio. You might as well have 2 cans and a string, okay? It's not the way you want to set up a radio. You want audio, okay? And you turn the dead key down to get rid of those flat tops and keep that modulation right up there, good 100%, okay? Anyway, enough of that story, too. Here we are, low dead key, about 1.5 watts, okay? Coming in really, really nice on the low side. We'll give you the high side. Again, like I said, that's probably right there, around 5, 5.5. Yeah, almost pushing 6, okay? Show you what she's doing on high. Again, nice and clean. No pinching, no flat topping, okay? Everything looking good, all right? Really, really surprised how clean some of these old radios come out. If they haven't been abused and overly modified and hacked up, they definitely still work very, very well. So I'm just going to show you the dead keys real quick. We'll start on low. Okay, about 1.5 watts, okay? And on high, right up there around 5. On the low side, swing. Yellow, breaker, audio, check 1, 2, audio, check 1, 2, break. I would run that radio right there on low all day long. You'll have a fantastic sounding radio, okay? But it's not going to hurt it to run it on high either, but that's just, in my opinion, I'd rather have the 1.5 swinging out there to like, what was it, almost 20, than the 5 swinging. I think we're getting 25 out of it. Yellow, breaker, audio, check 1, 2, 1, 2, audio, check 1, 2, 1, 2. So there you have it. All right. Coming very, very nice. Receives very nice. Everything else came out really good on it. Like I said, we did a little trace repair on it. I'll just show you that real quick. Like I said, I don't know what happened along the way. Somebody was definitely in here and did some repairs, but those are the 2 traces right there that were peeled up, okay, between this point right here and that point there, and same on this side. So we repaired the traces, got the crystal back in there, and got her rocking and rolling. Anyway, so again, if you got these old radios, they're definitely well worth getting repaired. Hopefully they don't have blown finals. Very, 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 very hard to find originals that go in here. Okay, as you can see, it's a 2166 driving a 2312s. All right, HD does make them. We can get them, but they're just not the same as the original. So hopefully it doesn't. The finals aren't blown out of them. And if you're gonna do something like this yourself, I recommend being very, very careful when it comes to going on eBay and buying some of those finals, because most of them are fake, and you're gonna be disappointed in the results. So you're probably better off just buy the HGs if you insist on repairing one of these radios with anything near stock, and hopefully getting those to tune in a little bit better than what the fakes do. Anyway, so that's that TriStar 121. He's got a couple more old TriStars here that he dropped off that we're going to slowly get going for him. He's in no big rush. So in between doing other things, we'll get those up and rocking and rolling too. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. TriStar 121 up and running. Norm, I'll have this ready for you this weekend. I don't know if you're going to come up and grab it, or I'll just catch up to you next week sometime. So anyway, have a good day, and we'll catch you on the next one.